Hello, hope y'all doing good. I'm doing all right. Today I'm going to show you a fun and easy technique to transform practically any audio source into fat and gushy weapon, impact, mechanical, or cybernetic sound effects in Ableton using a shifter, grain delay, and a phaser. Also, I'm your cousin Avi. I make music for people, sounds for games. Go ahead, like and subscribe. Join the journey that I am on to become a video game sound designer, technical sound designer. We're on our way. Oh yeah.
Shalom, bonjour, c'est moi, your cousin Avi.
Like and subscribe, please and thank you. To start, I want to show y'all a clip that I redesigned from Shadow Warrior 2, where the only processing that I'm doing is from this aforementioned technique, encapsulated as an Ableton rack, which I am calling Brutalizer. Here's the redesign before the effect processing, where all sounds are sourced from recordings that I did at home of 2 metal bowls and a small rock and a small plastic garbage can, recorded with an SM58 and an SM81. So here's that initial arrangement of sounds. Nice. And now here's the redesign with and only with Brutalizer on all tracks and groups. Not bad. Now there's a lot that can still be done, especially in regards to EQ and leveling. Some of it's definitely a little over the top. But for the degree of transformation, I think it's pretty sick. Let's get into the details of this chain in this rack. Bang, boom, pow. The main sauce is a grain delay and a phaser set to doubler mode, preceded by a shifter. And then for some crunchy grit and space, it's all followed by a little bit of post-processing. In the grain delay, we have dry wet, feedback, and frequency jacked all the way up, with the time ranging to a macro from 1 to 20 milliseconds. Now, the shorter delay times produce a frequency, creating a tone from the sampled grains, and I chose grain delay instead of a regular delay, specifically for the spray parameter. By cranking up the spray, or blur, on the brutalizer, we start to smear the signal by adding randomness to the delay time of each individual grain. So if we just turn this all the way down, and let's just do the phase dry wet all the way down, just so we're kind of listening to, or actually let's just turn that off for right now. Just so we're just listening to the grain delay. We're starting with just a kick drum here. So if we turn on the brutalizer with just the grain delay, let's also take off the space and the amp, the OTT, and the clip, which is that post-processing grit. So right now it's at 13 milliseconds. As that changes, obviously, the shorter the delay time, the higher the tone is going to be. But once we start introducing a small amount of milliseconds of blur, nice. Already sounding pretty nice, just messing with these mentioned parameters. You can get some pretty kooky stuff. To add more wetness, we have the phaser in doubler mode, which in effect is acting as another type of delay with phase modulation capabilities. The time is controlling the static delay of the duplicated signal. The amount is how much phase modulation is being introduced, and the feedback is how much it's all being fed back into the cell. Used in combination and with the highest frequency, we get some pretty chaotic and brutal wetness. A little farty. Good stuff. So for the last aspect of the main sauce of this rack, we have a shifter preceding the grain delay and the phaser, with it being controlled by just 2 macros, one for the amount of shift, the other for the mode of the shifting. I set the macros accordingly for each mode so it doesn't get too crazy, especially when randomizing. And this helps significantly with the weight of the transformed sound, i.e. the lower the shift, the heavier it's going to be, the higher, the lighter. Cool. Simple. Yeah. And for these other knobs, everything space is just controlling your reverb. Clip is doing some Clipping via a saturator. OTT is OTTing. And amp is to help smack the smickety smack out of the high-end information. Make it nice and crispy. Chicken. And depending on how you want the character of the tail of your sound, you can also modify the grain, delays, feedback, and pitch, which, if you may not know, the pitch is controlling the intervals by which each subsequent grain is pitched up or down over time. So, with all that being said, let's just close this up and let's just smack this randomize button and see what we get. Sick. Awesome. And this is all just from a kick drum as the input. Trying other audio as input can give a wide variety of fantastically weird results. It's a fun time. Yes. Anyways, thanks for hopping into the video. Brutalizer on my Gumroad, link in description. Check it out. Thanks for stopping by. Let's make cool things. See y'all in the next one. Toodles!